Kane not having an opponent. They just made up some kind of a ridiculous storyline where Kane believed to, kind of be a soft kind of person when he shook Randy Orton's hand, and that was the reason why he disappeared after the match. He hadn't been seen for months. Then he comes back with the long hair, the masks, the double masks. He takes off the mask, and he has a mask similar to the mask that he had in 1997, 1998 when he fought The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14. Very different perception coming from Kane. So many fans were into it, and halfway through Kane's heel push as a 2012 resurrected Kane from his original self on the path to rekindling the monster that he once was, Kane becomes this soft-hearted individual again, teaming with people like Daniel Bryan, not taking anything away from the credibility of Kane and Daniel Bryan. It was just, having Kane come in as this destructive monster, and then someone who was all there for fans, who was there for emotional support, who always believed in teams like Team Hell No and giving people a second chance, was just absolutely ridiculous. When you could have went flat out with a heel turn for Kane, you could have had Kane be just as destructive as he was in 2002, 2003, when he would just get under your skin, and that was really the only reason he was there, to get under your skin and do the most detestable things in the WWE, getting the most conversation on the internet in the early thousands, more so than anyone, and that took into consideration an entire roster of WWE superstars, from Scott Steiner to Kevin Nash to even Bill Goldberg. He was one of the most top 5 discussed superstars when it came to wrestling conversations, and how he had rekindled what he once was since 1997, 1998 when he debuted in October of that year. And now we get this updated version of the Masked Kane, one of the best Masked Kanes that I had seen in years, and they completely ruin his character. And I really feel for Kane fans, because one thing that you will notice if you've ever attended a WWE live event is just the overwhelming amount of fan support Kane receives from the WWE crowd. No matter if he's a fan favorite or a heel, especially when he's a heel, the Kane fans are very noticeable, and that's one thing that always stands out in the WWE crowd when it comes to responses, is the fact that we get so much of a diverse response for Kane. That's one thing that I've always noticed, no matter if he's a fan favorite or a heel. And now we are in a position now where Kane's character has been disastrously destroyed in the WWE. I'd much rather be seeing Kane challenging for the WWE World Championship, because as I said, I always believe that Kane deserves at least one more championship run between now and the time he retires, because without that championship run, Kane's character in the WWE, more importantly his career, will not truly be defined. The only thing that you will remember Kane for is being a very unpredictable character who did some of the most outrageous things sometimes in the WWE to stand out, and he accomplished his goal of wanting to stand out and be one of the most talked about superstars on the internet. But one thing that he will not be remembered for is a meaningful championship run. Now, the world title reign they gave him in 2009, 2010 was a good run. He had a couple of feuds in there with a couple of superstars, but the majority of his reign as world champion when he represented SmackDown centered around his feud and his history with The Undertaker. It was believed then The Undertaker was in his final long-term feud in the WWE, and that was the reason why they did it. And they had the Nexus come out and they buried a live match at Bragging Rights and bury The Undertaker. We didn't see The Undertaker after that buried alive match, and that was believed to be The Undertaker's final long-term feud that was actually done for the purpose of television and several pay-per-views, and also to promote the fact that Kane was the world champion, which was believed to be then Kane's final run as the world champion. But the thing was, it centered a little bit too much around the history of the Brothers of Destruction. If you were going to do that, you could have left the world title out of it. You didn't necessarily have to have Kane be the world champion and have The Undertaker chasing after the title for months, and then Kane goes on to have a very lackluster feud with Edge for the world championship, which resulted to be Edge's final run as the world champion. At least that was something meaningful for Kane to do. Edge would go on to compete in his final match at WrestleMania 27 against Del Rio for the world title, where he retired on top. The thing was, it just centered a little bit too much around one or two superstars that Kane was feuding with. It would have made more sense if Kane would have feuded with a host of superstars from either Raw or SmackDown, and that's why I think that Kane needs at least one more WWE Championship reign or World Championship reign between now and the time he retires, even more so when you reference the WWE Championship reign that he had, because he had just one in June of 1998 that lasted less than 24 hours when he lost the championship to Stone Cold Steve Austin after Austin cashed in his rematch the night after the very first blood match in the history of the WWE. There could have been more detail done for that. The Undertaker comes out and screws Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the WWE Championship. Kane goes on to lacerate Stone Cold Steve Austin and win the WWE Championship in a very impressive match. In less than 24 hours after winning his first title, Kane loses the championship in his very first inaugural WWE Championship title defense and wouldn't win a championship for over a decade until he won the World Championship at Money in the Bank 2010 on the same night that he won the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, cashing in on Rey Mysterio, who held the World Championship for just one night. It's a piece of history that fans always relive on YouTube, and if there's one Kane video that you're always reliving, it's that night that Kane won his first World Championship in over a decade. It was meaningful because it celebrated Kane's 10-year anniversary with the WWE, but I really think that Kane needs to get in that one more WWE or World Heavyweight Championship reign, more so a WWE title reign, if he's going to be remembered for anything critical, and he needs to do it as a heel mask character, because we saw some of the most unpredictable things and most unpredictable moments of Kane's career as a heel mask character, and I think that's when Kane performs the best, when he's a heel character. No wrestling fan should deny the fact that Kane has not performed at his best when he's a heel character, because that's when he has the switch that can be flipped at any given moment. That is when he is reviewed the best by radio shows, columnists, and especially wrestling fans. I mean, Kane has his supporters out there. He has a tremendous fan club and a tremendous amount of fan support. It's beyond me why they don't give Kane at least a 6-month reign as WWE Champion, because it would be truly meaningful if Kane got that one reign in, as opposed to always being one half of the tag team champions, either with Sean Waltman as part of the Attitude Era, or someone like The Undertaker or The Big Show, who he's had multiple tag team title runs with, and recently Daniel Bryan, as I said, not taking anything away from the credibility of the team of Team Hell No, a fan-chosen tag team for both the team and the name on a WWE.com poll, and they made a great decision by throwing Daniel Bryan and Kane together. Daniel Bryan kind of fits the personality of a Sean Waltman when it comes to Kane and Daniel Bryan's team, and of course Kane always is represented, no matter what team he's a part of, very effectively. But the thing is, Kane's tag team partners are always the ones who are coming out on the beneficiary end of a tag team like Team Hell No recently. I mean, Daniel Bryan was the one that was getting over as one half of the tag team champions. He seemed to be enjoying it more than Kane, and Kane was kind of just there as a tag team partner for Daniel Bryan and giving Daniel Bryan something to do. And that's why I'm really hoping for Kane versus Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan by SummerSlam, with it centering around one of the three superstars turning heel, and preferably I really think it's desirable that Kane turns heel, because Kane has been performing really good over the past couple of months, and I think that it would be awesome if Kane turned heel and either turned on Daniel Bryan or Randy Orton. And by SummerSlam, we either saw a three-way between these three superstars who have really been the focal point of Friday Night SmackDown, if anything, or a match between Kane and Daniel Bryan, the first one-on-one match between these two, and it could result on what happens to them in the Money in the Bank All-Stars match, which they are a part of, along with Randy Orton. Also included in this match, we'll see the likes of CM Punk and RVD, who I think this match will pretty much come down to. And by SummerSlam, we could see predictable matches of RVD versus John Cena for the first time in over 7 years, resulting from what happened to John Cena at the 2006 One Night Stand pay-per-view. It'll be RVD versus John Cena for the new WWE Championship, because of RVD cashing in the briefcase, similar to how RVD cashed in on John Cena prior to One Night Stand 2006, only this time RVD will cash in, looking to make an impact when he returns to pay-per-view in a one-on-one match against Cena at SummerSlam. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar will result from whatever happens to Punk in this Money in the Bank All-Stars ladder match. Don't be surprised if Punk is cost the opportunity to hold the briefcase for the WWE Championship because of something Brock Lesnar will do. And another match that I predict for SummerSlam, centering around one of these three turning heel, is either a three-way between Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton, or Kane going one-on-one with Daniel Bryan, which will be their first one-on-one match in over a year, and it'll more than likely center around one of these two turning heel. It'll either happen in a one-on-one match or a three-way match, because it doesn't look like anything prominent is going to happen for Randy Orton anytime soon, and that is very unfortunate for Randy Orton fans. One thing that I will never deny is the fact that I've always been a huge supporter of people like Kane, The Undertaker, The Rock, Triple H. No matter who the legends are, I've always been a huge supporter of legends, and that's why I'm really hoping for something more beneficiary to happen for Kane sometime between now and SummerSlam. And I'm sure I'm not the only wrestling fan, and I speak for the majority of wrestling fans, especially the majority of Kane fans, at least 85% of them, when I say that something more profitable needs to happen for Kane. Something more profitable and unpredictable, both aspects need to happen for Kane's character, because he's heading down a very uncertain road right now. You have him in one of the most unpredictable situations in the WWE. You don't know when he's going to flip this switch. One minute he's very calm and very collected. The next minute he's flipping out on people like Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. Kane doesn't know if he's coming or going from one minute to the next, and I think that is when Kane performs at his best. That is why when Kane now has this new masked character going for himself, this updated version from what he was in the mid-1990s, late 1990s, you need to do something profitable for Kane's character. It's pretty obvious you're never going to rekindle the original masked Kane and who he was in 1997, 1998 when he first debuted in the WWE. I mean, Kane has appeared at over 15 or 16 WrestleManias in his career. He's celebrated over 15 or 16 years in a WWE ring when it comes to his career. And I think he needs to do something more profitable, one of the most unpredictable things that he could ever do in his career, and he needs to challenge sometime between now and his retirement for the WWE Championship. He needs to go in the Hall of Fame for being known as something, and something more than just being one half of the Brothers of Destruction, or being the brother of The Undertaker, or feuding with Triple H and always coming out on the losing end. He needs to be remembered more for losing all the time, and I think one meaningful WWE Championship run, if anything, as a result of what could happen in the All-Stars Money in the Bank ladder match featuring a total of 7 Raw and SmackDown superstars, a total of 7 from each show. I think something profitable could happen for Kane in this match. He's one of my top picks to win, and you'll find my pay-per-view predictions for Money in the Bank and what could possibly happen at that pay-per-view by clicking on pay-per-view picks on the top of our website. I just think something really needs to happen for Kane at Money in the Bank, and then something needs to happen as a follow-up at SummerSlam. And if he doesn't go into SummerSlam after cashing in the briefcase after winning the All-Stars Money in the Bank ladder match, which would be his second victory in an MITB ladder match in his career, then he needs to be in a match where it centers around someone like Kane turning heel, because that is when Kane is the most unpredictable. Point blank, it's a very precarious position and an inescapable position for Kane to be in, and I think it's just completely unnecessary what they're doing with this character after bringing him back as his resurrected character, bringing him back with seemingly so much unpredictability, and you didn't really know when this switch was going to flip when it came to Kane's character. There's really no reason for Kane to be in this